Welcome back to my channel, guys. We have lots to upload and also to download. Just kidding. Today's video I'll be talking more about what is happening right now in Syria, give you a good idea to find out exactly what is happening between Syria, its neighboring countries like Jordan, Lebanon, and also, of course, Israel. We'll talk about all of this in a second, but before I move on, just to remind you guys, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you want to get all the updates, consider subscribing. Now, let's take a look at this report first. So, Syrian rebels, according to this report, they clashed with Israeli army. IDF confirms its first action at Golan Heights. So, what happened? Israeli troops assist UN forces in Syria to repel possible attacks by insurgents. IDF on December 7th said it is assisting UN forces in Syrian side of the Golan Heights. Israeli army claimed a UN post near the Syrian town of Hadar was attacked. Quite the irony, isn't it? Just a few days ago, they attacked UN post in Lebanon. And we have testimony, eyewitness, and social media videos, several of them, accusing Israel of violating basic human right, basic international law, basic, just everything basic about humanity. They broke all the laws in Lebanon when they targeted UN members. And remember, Italy, Spain, all of these countries, they were protesting. Even countries who supported Israel, even though they're committing genocide, they spoke against Israel. They said this is unacceptable. And we have seen how French Macron, he was roaring against Israel. Oh, he cannot do this in Lebanon. And now, lo and behold, we see that Israel is protecting UN. Why? Because they're panicking. They do not know what the future holds, and therefore this is what is coming on the news, that they are now protecting UN, the very one they tried to destroy. Now let's take a look at this particular other video from Erdogan. So far we have seen him keeping silent for the most part, but now he's making it absolutely clear that he wants Bashar al-Assad to be gone, because he approached Bashar al-Assad several times, or maybe hundreds of times in the past, throughout this conflict in Syria, to negotiate, to come to a political negotiation. Assad said to Turkish President Erdogan, F you, I don't care. Who are you? Who are you? I'm going to MBS, I'm going to Mahmud bin Zayed, I'm going to Putin, I'm going to Iran. I keep you in my pocket. So he said in this particular video that I hope now the Syrian rebel will punish you. Now take a look.
İdlib, Hama ve Humus, hedef tabi Şam. Muhaliflerin bu yürüyüşü şu an itibariyle devam ediyor. Biz de bunu gerek istihbarat gerekse...
Well, I cannot blame anybody for Assad's fall except himself. He is the downfall for his own doings. His downfall is for his own doings. Now let's take a look at some other news here coming from the Israeli forces, and they are now saying this: Syrian rebels take areas near Israeli border. So in other words, Zionists, they're panicking. IDF warned them not to turn in our direction, quote unquote, in our direction. I just want to actually show you this from the news here, Times of Israel. They posted this article just a few hours ago, talking about how Israel is feeling, nervous about the whole situation, and they have said that the IDF, they are now assisting UN force to repel the attack. The Israeli military said Saturday evening that it was helping United Nations forces on the Syrian side of the Golan Heights repel an attack by the gunmen near the town of Hadar, close to the Israeli border. We know that Golan Heights was given to Israel by Donald Trump, and that place right now is coming under attack by these rebels. And then we also have news. It basically says the terse statement coming from a Zionist came after the military announced, so the IDF, they have announced Saturday that it was further bolstering its forces in the Golan Heights, after already announcing on Friday that it was deploying additional ground and air troops there. In other words, Zionists are panicking so much that they're not happy with just ground forces. They are now deploying additional troops and air force too. So where this fear is coming from all of a sudden? Well, when they were fighting against Hezbollah, I did not see that for sure. Because with Hezbollah, they know the game. IDF know the game with Hezbollah, their abilities, how much they can cause damage to Israel. But with this particular group, they have absolutely no clue. This is now a, uncharted territory for Israel, for the Zionists. They are preparing for the worst. They do not know what to expect next. And this is where things get very, very interesting at the same time. The reinforcement troops will enable the strengthening of defenses in the area and the preparation of the troops for various scenarios in the area. So various scenarios, what does it mean? What does it mean when they say, the Zionist military say various scenarios? It means there could be an attack, a ground attack by these rebels directly into Israel. The one they have seen coming from Jordan during the conflict with the Hezbollah. Jordanian, even Saudi Arabian one national, he took up arms against them. Now this was contained by both Jordanian government and also obviously Lebanon just wanted to use Hezbollah against Israel. But now there is absolutely no one in power. They do not know who will send what next against Israel. There is this uncertainty in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu, meanwhile, was convening the security cabinet on Saturday. So they're panicking so much. Now they're calling for meetings and discussion to discuss the deployments in Syria, according to a statement from his office. So what they discuss when Netanyahu convened his cabinet, they discussed the developments in Syria, just the development in Syria. What is happening? We do not know. Israel is reportedly preparing for the possibility that Syrian President Assad's regime may collapse, and it did just few minutes ago, I believe. Assad is gone. The city, Damascus, fell into the hand of these rebels. Amid the dramatic advances by rebel forces in recent days, CNN reported Saturday that the U.S. was seeing an increased possibility that the regime could collapse within days. It did, citing a source who said the president was nowhere to be found in Damascus and may possibly have fled. He is in Russia right now, according to this report. I just want to actually play this video, if I could. Take a listen.
Publication by Isabel Coles and Summer said notes that as of December 6th, Bashar al-Assad remained in Syria. Although last week his children and wife went to Russia, and his sons-in-law to the United Arab Emirates. As the anti-regime armed groups reach Homs city center and pressure on...
So basically Assad is gone. He is most likely in Russia. We do not know where he is. He could be in Iran. We do not know. But what we do know is that he is not in Damascus. Now let's take a look at this particular other report here. Basically talking about how these countries are feeling so nervous, especially Jordan, Lebanon and other countries, that they have actually closed their border crossing with Syria. Jordan has closed its only passenger and commercial border crossing into Syria. The interior minister said on Friday. A Syrian army source told Reuters that armed groups had been fighting at Syria's Nasib border crossing into Jordan. So you can imagine these armed groups are going hayward. They have no direction, nothing, no instruction from the upper echelon of the authority, whatever they have, because these people are now targeting whatever need to be targeted in order to reach to these countries, to go to Jordan, to go to Lebanon, and then go to Israel. Why I say this? Well, it is because these people, these groups are not going to be staying in Syria forever. Don't make this mistake that these rebels, especially now that we know some of these fighters are not from Syria itself. They did not come here just to liberate Damascus, just to get rid of Assad regime. They have more motives. We do not know what they are, but these Syrian groups, they are not comprised of just Syrian people. They are from Kazakhstan, they are from even Afghanistan, some reports said. We do not know, but it is not just about Syria. It is more about Syria. And it is more about other countries. A Syrian army source told Reuters, so this is what is happening. Armed groups, quote unquote, who infiltrated the crossing attacked Syrian army post stationed there. So again, Syrian army source, they said they opened fire. All of a sudden, we do not know who these people are. They're just gunmen. He said dozens of trailers and passengers were now stranded near the area. Jordan's interior minister said Jordanians and Jordanian trucks would be allowed to return via the crossing, known as the Jabr crossing, on the Jordanian side, while no one would be allowed to cross into Syria. So, Jordan is now panicking. Who is the king of Jordan? Abdullah, right? He's panicking that his people could actually revolt against him. Therefore, he's making it absolutely sure that no one would be allowed to cross into Syria from Jordan. Because we have seen in Jordan a lot of protest against the government for supplying aids and different kind of even goods to Israel. And Jordanian people, they said, we do not want that to happen. Now that Syria is unstable, this revolution could have a domino effect, and it could reach to Jordan, that has the potential to overthrow Abdullah, King Abdullah. Is it Abdullah? Yeah. And we might see it could reach even to Egypt. So all of these countries, the leadership, they're panicking, they're shaking because of the possibility that they could all be overthrown. What happened in 2011, don't make mistake, several of the leaders from Muammar Gaddafi to Tunisian president to even Egyptian president Hosni Mubarak, all of these were overthrown. Now they know that this is not just about Syria, guys. These rebel groups could inspire, encourage, and even take part in overthrowing these governments. And therefore, Israel and all of these countries are panicking, because when Mohammed Morsi was in power in Egypt, Israel could not even breathe properly. They were so uncomfortable because Morsi threatened Israel with action. And now they're seeing that same possibility coming true, because Egyptian people, they're also rising up against the corruption of who? Of this guy Sisi. Guys, this is just the beginning of what we will be seeing coming in the long run. Also on Friday, Lebanon's General Security Directorate said, so this is coming from Lebanon, that the country was closing all land borders crossings with Syria except for a main one that links Beirut with the Syrian capital Damascus. So again, they are taking all the precaution they can in order to stop any kind of infiltration into the country. The decision by the security agency in charge of border crossings came hours after an Israeli airstrike damaged the Arida border crossing with Syria in North Lebanon, days after it was reopened. So Arida crossing is so important, it was so vital, that I would argue because of this airstrike from Israel on this bridge, Arida border crossing, Hezbollah could not intervene in Syria. I would even argue that. I mean, we know logistically it is not possible for Hezbollah to come into Syria and fight. Let alone fighting, they cannot even come to Syria right now in this situation. But because of that border crossing that is being destroyed, Arida border crossing, Hezbollah, their hope to rescue Assad was over. Separately, Israel's military said in a statement it planned to reinforce its forces stationed in the Golan Heights. Okay, so Israel military said in a statement it planned to reinforce, guys, reinforce. This is the first time we are seeing who were in this area so far in Golan Heights with the Israeli border. Russian, not Iranian, Russian troops. And they were living in peace with the IDF, Israeli terrorist forces. Russian forces, IDF, they were getting along very well. You live in your area, I live in my area, don't fight. Now, Israel is so terrified that not only they're feeling this nervousness, but also they're sending reinforcements to protect the area. Because Golan Heights is the target of the local militant groups. They want to take over Golan Heights, not coming from Syrian, but also coming from Egypt and elsewhere. This area is always very, very volatile and comes under attack regularly. Now, because of these rebels, all of these groups may gather together and attack these areas along with the Golan Heights borders with Israel. Okay, so where civil war was reignited between the government forces and militants. The statement said it was, quote unquote, monitoring developments and is prepared for all scenarios, offensive and defensive alike. So offensive and defensive. So they know, Israel knows that these rebels are coming after them today or tomorrow. It's just a matter of time. Now let's take a look at what this guy he said about this situation. Don the Khan. He basically said, I'm hereby demanding that US do not get involved in the conflict between Syria, Russia, Iran. This is not our fight. We should not send one penny to Damascus or any other party involved. We cannot let the warmongers in the White House succeed in starting World War III. Okay, first thing first, Donald Trump, your country doesn't have the money, nor does it have the weapons to supply to any country anymore after the supply of weapons and billions of dollars to Israel. According to military analysts, US's military assets had been depleted in a quite significant number. Therefore, Donald Trump's rhetoric makes sense that US, even if they want to help any country to protect its interest, including in Syria, they cannot. It is not possible for US to give a blank check to any country for good, like they did with Israel. So now Donald Trump is saying, oh, we don't want to fight anybody. It's their matter. Well, the bottom line is that you don't have the money anymore. You do not have the morale anymore. You have seen how Israel is getting defeated in Gaza every single day. I want you to take a listen to what he said here.
Just as importantly, bringing back empowerment will give us a crucial tool with which to obliterate the deep state, drain the swamp, and starve the warmongers, these people that want wars all over the place, killing, killing, killing. They love killing. And the globalists out of our government. We're going to get the warmongers and the globalists out of our government.
Okay, they love killing, killing, killing. This is exactly what US is been doing for decades. Donald Trump is coming out as a saint. US is a saint.
Just as importantly,
we're angels. Unbelievable. Now we also have this report here. Somebody posted, actually from BRICS News. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump demands the United States to stay out of Syria and avoid getting involved. Quote, the United States should have nothing to do with it. This is not our fight, right? This is not your fight because you cannot fight even if you want, because you have given a blank check to Israel Zionists that they have wasted 100%. Now, you have this Donald Trump talking about Syria, how he was looting Syrian oil. Let's take a listen.
And then they say he left troops in Syria. You know what I did? I left troops to take the oil. I took the oil. The only troops I have are taking the oil. They're protecting the oil. I took over.
We're taking the oil. We're not taking
well,
the oil.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
They're protecting the facility.
I don't know. Maybe we should take it. But we have the oil. Right now, the United States has the oil. So they say he left troops in
Unbelievable. Take the oil. We're going to leave forces to take the oil. I mean, people who support Assad, where are you guys? Syrian assets, natural resources are being looted by these people, the Western countries, on Assad's watch. And you talk about Assad protecting Assad. Assad is real. I mean, he's the butcher of Syrian people anyways, but then he doesn't even have the gut, the spine to protect these oil fields from being looted by America. Now, obviously, people also don't know that this is Syria. So I'm not going to be showing the whole thing, but this is Syria in ruins. 300,000 civilian men, women, and children have been killed. Millions more displaced. So these people, this person, his name is David Wood, he is criticizing for Muslims to not stand up against Assad regime. He said the reason why Muslims are not standing up against Assad is because he's a Muslim. But he said if it happened with Gaza, and it did, then Muslim will be standing up and they will be protesting and all that, which is true. A lot of Muslims, they are very hypocritical when it comes to supporting Bashar al-Assad. They say, oh, if you don't support Assad, then you're basically against Palestine. No, I am for Palestine. Guys, October 7th happened because of the oppression against the Palestinian people, right? For decades of oppression. What happened in Syria on November the 27th is for the exact reason, oppression for decades. against the Syrian people, both by Bashar al-Assad and his father. So no, we are not against resistance, we are pro-resistance, and this is why I am here, to protect, even if I can, one life getting killed in Palestine, in Gaza, in Syria, and everywhere on earth. I do not want fighting between groups and parties, that, especially if that is going to be helping or benefiting the Zionists and the genocide enablers. Thank you guys for your comments. I will see you in the next video. Leave a comment in the comment section. Have a wonderful day.